Look, had to get on my grind, ain't got no time to be making excuses. Success in my mind, I hit up Sean when I land up in Houston. Him and Gentry told me, AOG, when you chasing your dreams, gotta take that risk, so I stake my chips, put it all on me. It is what it is, put all the chips all on me, yeah. I don't talk too much, put the money up all on me, yeah. I'ma put 10 bands, 100 bands, millions all on me, yeah. I'ma put 10 bands, 100 bands, millions.
All right, so we have a unique show today because we have a father and a son. How old are you, Leo?
I am 11.
11 years old. And Leo has his own podcast of his own, interviewing business people and other successful people, kind of similar to this show. I want to ask you both the same question. Why do you think so many kids leave traditional school without real world skills? What do you think, Dad?
Why do they leave school without the real world skills?
Yeah, why do you think when they graduate from school, they have no real world skills?
Yeah, I think it's because the system is just, it's old, it's outdated. Maybe there was a place where it worked, but I haven't seen any evidence where traditional schooling's worked in 40, 50 years.
I would agree. I would agree with the same thing. What about you, Leo?
I would say that I think the reason would probably be that, like, kids don't find it maybe, like, as too enjoying because school's almost like a prison, you know? So maybe that's why they're like, I'll just convince my mom or dad, you know?
I like those memes that I see online where it like shows the prison bus and the school bus, and then it shows like the cafeterias, and they look exactly the same. And it's definitely, I don't know, you're right. It's not coincidental. I think it was designed just for a different time. And I think times have just changed so much. And I think it was already outdated. And now with AI, it's going to be crazy outdated. I don't think they're going to be able to move fast enough. So I think you're on the right path by homeschooling them.
Yeah.
Wait, what point did you realize that you wanted to homeschool him? Was it since day one?
Since birth.
Okay.
I mean, we just knew, my wife and I knew that was the plan, is just to be real, intentional with him. And just, we'd seen just historically, as anybody who's paying attention knows, that the system isn't, we can speculate as to why that's the case, but it hasn't really been, producing the top type of talent that I believe that the system should, or maybe initially it was intended to. So, yeah. Are you involved in also the homeschool curriculum, or is it just your wife? How do y'all structure the day?
Mom's
a huge part of it. I would say my only role in it, and it doesn't even feel like a role, but it's in the mentorship of launching the podcast.
Okay.
It's just more like real life activity. It's like, all right, we got a podcast at 1. Let's get ready. What are we going to talk about? And so it's just like doing things in real life is sort of my role.
Of course, that's what everyone needs that school doesn't provide, is real life skills.
Yeah, and like a dad, you know?
Do kids your age talk about money and business and podcasts?
No, and the answer is no, probably not. I mean, as a kid, I feel like you don't learn that stuff until at a, much older age. And, I'm very lucky to be learning this at a young age so I can understand when, when I need to, do this or that, right? I already know. I know, I'll just do that, and it helps with that.
Exactly.
So I think kids should learn about money and, other things to do with that very early on.
I think so too. I think you're right, because if you learn by doing, you learn a lot more by doing than you do sitting in a classroom reading out of a book your whole life.
Yeah.
And so when you do something, you get a little bit more confident, and you definitely learn a lot faster. And so I think that's the right path for sure.
Books are good for you, but
yeah, books are good.
Yeah,
it is. It gets your ideas flowing. It gets your mind thinking creatively, but I don't think it's the only way.
Yeah.
People learn by doing. They learn faster by doing.
Yeah.
What is there a certain curriculum that y'all follow, or because I don't, I'm kind of going down the same path that y'all are going down?
It's called a CC.
Okay.
Classical Conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it just an online program that you can register for?
Yeah, there's an online component to it, and that's like, everybody will get that if you're participating in it. But then there are like local groups of CC in regions, and like there's a Spicewood group, a Lakeway group. There's multiple in every area, and so yeah, they get together about once a week, and they kind of unify on the agenda, kind of review things. It gives them time to like play with their friends and peers, because that's one of the stereotypes of homeschool is like, oh my gosh, are they socially awkward? And I'm like, well, you never met this one if that's what you're thinking, because yeah.
All the ones I know are actually some of the most outgoing people that I know.
Yeah.
That were homeschooled.
Yeah.
Some of my guy friends, and then Candace and some other people I know, they're like almost some of the best communicators. And so I think that's a completely opposite thought. I think it's just something that they can push back on, like justify it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, they're not going to be around other kids. Well, I don't know, because all the bad stuff I learned in school from other bad kids. And so it there might be a couple good kids at school, but that's what you can't control. And so now your kid's around a bunch of other kids that, may not want to improve their life and may want to, not care about life at all or not care about learning. But then your kid's around them all day long. And so I would think that I push back and say it's the opposite. I don't think it's a socialization problem at all. But I do think kids need to be around other kids too, but it needs to be around the right kids.
Yeah, it can't be around some kids who probably grew up in an alleyway, in New York City.
It's what made you want to go a different route than the traditional school route?
Yeah, I mean, just seeing how kids are growing up these days, it's they're I see kids these days and they're just like zombies. I know that it's not all kids. I'm stereotyping too as well, but they don't know how to look you in the eye. They don't know how to shake your hand. They're lacking confidence. They're playing their games and they're missing out on opportunities to connect with the world. So,
and I think that traditional school is part of that problem for sure.
Yeah.
Just because it doesn't teach them all the things that you actually need to succeed in life.
Yeah, and just a quick note on traditional school, what is it, 8 hours? And it's sort of designed to have two working parents so they can go to work. And then you've got like daycare / a little bit of education through 8 hours. That's just way too long for a kid to be away from home and also like in a setting. And I know they change classes and they got their timed classes and then you take little breaks, but it's just too much time to be sitting there to like consume all this information. So it's almost like they're just cramming random things that they'll never use in life just to make up that time so that mom and dad can be working. And then there's other reasons why mom and dad have to work, but yeah.
Yeah, the school is built like literally like a prison. Like think about it. Like you have the bus, which imagine like that's the police car, right? They take you to jail. That's school, and well, you're pretty much locked up there for what? Yeah, like 8 hours.
Yeah.
So it almost pretty much is a jail.
And everyone knows, and I know from me going to school, you don't learn the whole 8 hours. You're barely learning, if at all, any of the time that you're there. Yeah. What do Leo's responsibilities look like in your house outside of the homeschool program?
Yeah, I mean, we make him, clean up after himself, and make sure he's aware of whatever he's doing, that there's consequences, not like punishment consequences, but like there's going to be effects to your actions. So like, what are those? And just be mindful of that. More specifically, he's got a dog that we got him a couple years ago. So he watches out for the dog, takes him out, attends to him when he's needy. And, sometimes, hey, Dad, can you do that? So, well, he's your dog,
I only need you help with, feeding him and
just keeping him alive.
Yeah,
that kind
yeah.
of stuff. No big deal.
I can take him out and make sure he doesn't,
that's still
do
really
his
good.
thing on the rug.
Yeah. But
that's still really good because every other kid says they're going to do it. And then a week or two goes by and they're like, they're not doing it anymore.
Yeah. So it gives them responsibility, gives them something to do. And then now even more to current day, we've got the podcast and he's like, hey, so what time is it? Because I got this at 1:00. And so he's just being mindful of there's a schedule for things. And then, all right, it's 5 minutes till, let's get ready because we have to respect the other person's time. So he's just learning a lot of those things simultaneously.
Thank you.
What do you think creates entitlement in the kids today? Because I'm definitely nervous about that. It's my biggest fear because my kid's growing up with a lot different life than me and my wife grew up with. So I'm trying to do everything I can, to not have him grow up with his hand out. And so it's tough, He doesn't have to struggle like we had to struggle. And so, but I still try to create as much as I can, but it's still definitely a fear. What do you think that can either avoid that, or why do you think a lot of kids do grow up with entitlement nowadays, especially?
Yeah, that was a great deep question. Yeah, I believe just exposing them to some
Habits.
to some other life that maybe it's not their life right now, but say, hey, other people have had it rough, and let's go check it out. Like we went to Navajo Nation in Arizona, and so the Indians, the native Indians live as some of the poorest people, in America, even in the world. You think you're like in a whole nother country, and as we're walking through and just looking at how the people are living, I teach them to first, respect them, have sympathy for them, and then look how hard they're working. And it's like, you get up, you've got food, you can kind of do whatever you want. And these people are like, they're moving around doing their thing because they have to. And so I think just exposing our children to those kind of things at an early age and talking to them, explaining them, because they're not going to like observe it without the communication. I think that's key, and that helps.
I think discipline too. And like you said, habits, like
Yeah, I
discipline
think
and good habits.
yeah, I think another like I guess thing that also, does entitlement is like money, which is what that's at. Like you have to show them that like you could be in like a worse place. Like you should be happy for where you are, and maybe even where you will be eventually.
Yes. And then, a thing that I make a point is I don't give my son any money or anything at all. He has to earn everything. And we actually do it through improving on his skills because he is pretty young still. And so, I don't necessarily pay him to do any chores because it's pretty much expected anyways. He's going to clean up his stuff. I'm not going to pay him to do it. But when he improves on his skills, like some of the stuff you're doing, like communication, and we work on every week, and some of the other life skills that we work on, then he can earn something, which was for a little while was Legos. He didn't really want any money, but that's kind of what I'm hoping to continue. Like he's not going to get anything from us. I'm not going to buy him a car when he's 16, but I'll give him the skills to go be able to earn as much money as he wants. Yeah. So I hope that'll help a little bit. He's definitely not going to get a handout or money from his mom and his dad for sure.
It's funny because I actually just built a Lego set like a couple days ago.
What'd you build?
It was this big one called Love.
Okay.
And I forgot where it was from, but you have it to where there's the L, the O, and the O looks like it's about to fall off, but it's like secured on. It's very cool.
What categories do you like the most? My son's into cars right now. He likes dinosaurs and he likes cars, but cars probably a little bit more than dinosaurs.
Category for Legos?
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of just like any type of Legos.
Okay.
I mean, who doesn't love Legos? It's a brick. The only thing that people do not like about Legos is when you accidentally step on them. That's it.
We actually read the Lego book, the where it got founded, and it was a really interesting story. And they were kind of on the brink of going under at one point, and they started doing partnerships with all the big brands. So they had name brand, whether it was cars or name brand something else, and it kind of revived them where people got really into it, or Marvel characters or whatever the movie sets, anything. And so that's like kind of where they rebounded. But it was a really crazy story about the guy that started it. It was really good. You should read it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Awesome.
I guess you're in real estate.
In real estate, internet marketing, advising.
Okay.
So serial entrepreneur.
Okay. Awesome. When did you first start exposing Leo, at what age, to real estate and some of the business stuff that you're doing?
Yeah, specifically real estate, I would say at 8 years old. So
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
yeah, so interesting story, but yeah, we'll go as long as you want or as
No,
deep as
go
you
for
want
it.
on
Yeah,
it. But
tell me
yeah,
the story.
so I have a primary business, online marketing, and in the supplement space, high volume. Been doing that for since the mid '90s. I like to say dinosaurs used to roam the earth at that time, and so that type of business has provided great cash flow to do other things with and expand our little attempt to have a nice little empire. And one of them was doing Airbnbs. And so we found this place up in northern Michigan, so off the beaten path for us, but we found like a little paradise up in northern Michigan, and we bought a lake house, and we were put a lot into it, made it like our second home basically. And then another house came on the market on the lake, and we planned to rent that house in Michigan. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is a beautiful house, and it's going to be our competition. Let's go look at it. And so we looked at it, and I'm just in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, doing the numbers. Yeah, we need to get this thing. And so the realtor like showing us around, and they give you a little private time as a family to discuss amongst yourself. The old me would have said, "All right, son, here's an iPad. There's the room over there. Go play your heart's content, and we'll let you know when we're done." And that would have been fine. I don't think anybody would have judged me. They'd be
I
like,
think
"Yeah,
I would have probably been grinding Clash Royale on the iPad.
yeah, you probably would have had fun doing it." But what I thought was teachable moment. I said, "Son, you're going to make the offer to the realtor." I said, "You're going to tell him we're going to close in 30 days. Here's the price that we're going to pay. Leave the dock, leave the furniture, because again, this is an investment property, and this will save us like 100 grand. Yeah, go for it." And he's like, "Why am I doing this?" And I'm like, "We'll debrief later. Just go. Time's of the essence." And then he goes up. I remember Mr. Jim, and then he's telling him all this stuff, and he's kind of looking down, like a little smirk, like this young kid talking big people stuff. And then he looks at me, doesn't say anything, but with his eyes, he's asking, "Is that the offer?" And I'm like, "Young whippersnapper spoke for us. That's the offer." And then we got the house. Of course, the terms have to make sense, but
Let's hope he's having a fun time up there.
yeah, he passed away. So, but that's a great memory with Mr. Jim. And we got the house. Terms have to make sense. And yeah, it was his first experience kind of being thrown into a business situation. And I can just see like one day he's going to do that with his kids. Like, my dad took me to do real estate and make this offer. So kids, you're going to do it too. And he's going to share that experience. So for me, it's just about the legacy aspect of it. And
So 8 years old. And so after that, after he made the first offer and you started kind of introducing him into the business and real estate world, was he paying attention at first or would he kind of get sidetracked? I've noticed with my son that, again, when I started with him, he was, 4.5 to 5. And so it was a little bit tough, super short attention span. But now he's like really starting to come around. He's 6.5 now.
yeah.
But was he the same way? Was he not paying attention? Would he pay attention sometimes? Like, how hard was it to keep him focused on the business and real estate?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, we got that house and, we'd spend a lot of time up in northern Michigan. We live in Texas. And so we've got one
Very
house.
different climate change.
Oh, yeah.
I know that. Yeah.
You got one house under massive construction. This other one that he made the offer on, semi-construction, but still a pretty big project. And so we're like, okay, we need to be up here. So we have a travel trailer. So we need to be up here to like oversee this. Like I'm not going to be the one nailing the hammer, but I need to be up here to like go get lumber and go, run around and do stuff, because I noticed that our contractors were very slow when we're in Texas, but when we're up there, they go faster. So I put 2 and 2 together. We should be up there more. And I have this big, massive truck, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know how to hammer a nail in, or not very good, but I do know how to go to the hardware store and pick up lumber better than anybody could. Like I would challenge them to do it better than me. And so no more like, oh, we got to go to the hardware store at 11, and then we're going to go to lunch, and then it's 2 o'clock. We'll just call it an early day. And so he got to participate with us, going to get lumber, going to like, do measurements and do like all these cool custom things that we probably wouldn't have done, had we stayed down here. Because, it's like we know what the project's going on. And then my wife, she's very creative with design. She's like, well, since we got to go get, lumber for that, let's make it like, this certain way. And so we were kind of coordinating with the contractor and other kind of specialists there on that. And he got to witness all of that. So I think some of that got to stick around to see how we manage that.
Other than that, I mostly just spend my time on Clash Royale, but that was it.
So after you started the house, how did it turn out? What the numbers turn out like?
Yeah, spectacular. I mean, northern Michigan, they're like, pristine summers. And speaking of somebody who's from Texas, highest is like 89, 90. And when they get those temperatures, they're like, oh my gosh, it's hot. And I'm like, you've never seen hot before.
Yeah.
But so it's pristine from like mid-June to like mid-September. And during that time frame, like both houses were just booked, back to back. I mean, it's printing cash. But on the flip side, there's some fall demand and even some spring demand. But in the winter, it's like you might as well have said this place is to be condemned or something, because it's a winter wonderland. And while it is beautiful and we love to use that home in the winter.
It's very cold.
Well, it's very cold. Yeah, negative 20 degrees sometimes. And it's on the lake. Like the lake's there and the house is like right at the edge of the lake. And so our first house, we redid the whole house. Like at first another realtor is like, yeah, you put 75 grand into this thing, it'll be ready for prime time. And I'm thinking, okay, I know how this game is played. You tell me 75, I'm going to double it to 150. And then like, if I'm okay at 150, then we can move forward. Otherwise, I have to be okay with doubling his number.
Every construction project I've ever done has cost more than I originally planned for.
Oh my gosh.
There's never been one time where we spent less than I planned to spend.
Yeah.
So sometimes I get close, but it always seems like it costs a little bit more. Doesn't matter to the project.
Yeah.
Well, I should have told myself, multiply that times 15 not two, because that's what the outcome was.
Yeah.
But you've heard of the term scope creep. It's like we've got this is the plan, and then all of a sudden this and this, and we can lift the house. Now that we lift the house, we got more room to do other stuff. And so anyway, but we treat it like an extension of our home. So it's
Yeah, that's
it's
super
awesome.
cool. When you can make money off something and have a place to go,
That's the dream.
yeah, it is. Whenever you first started learning about real estate, did it feel like you were learning when he had you made the offer, or did it just feel like you're hanging out with your family?
It felt like, I don't know how to say this. I could just be going insane, but it felt like a spark to something big, Like you light the fuse and then guess what comes after? Boom. Um, it definitely interested me. I was a bit interested in, I guess real estate. Well, not really, but maybe just a tiny bit.
Were you nervous in the beginning learning about money and real estate?
I mean, first when Dad said the word money, I'm like, okay, I will take this offer. I'm like, you said money, I will do anything. So
That's a good
yeah.
point. What route would you have taken if he didn't really show a ton of interest early on? Would you have stuck with it and kind of just kept teaching him about it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I feel like at 8 or those early ages, it's more about their capacity to learn and absorb of what they're doing, and you'll see, and I'm sure you've already seen, like your son's different from 5 than he was at 4, and so like every year a little more personality comes out or changes,
Yeah.
and they're interested in different things, and you never know, like he has some people he likes to watch on YouTube, for example, and when they talk about a certain topic, it's like, well, I've been saying that before, but now when he heard it from somebody else, it's like it kind of clicks. Some of these younger kids are talking
Yeah, but
about
I
money
like
and
you
stuff.
too.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, like,
My son does too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to limit it. He earns his YouTube on the weekends after he improves all week.
I'm pretty sure this is going on YouTube, right?
It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be everywhere. Spotify, YouTube, everything.
oh man,
Apple.
Yeah.
What do you think the importance is of involving him in the adult conversation so young?
Yeah, I mean, just so that he gets used to it, so that it's not some foreign thing when it's his turn to come up. Because, a lot of us, and I'll speak for myself, I wasn't in those adult conversations. So when it was time for me to, buy my first home and start, talking business, I kind of had to like figure it out and kind of stumble through it. And that was my journey. And, I figured it out. But I know that could discourage others who are like, they don't even know where to start or how to do it.
You had the same kind of path that I did. And whenever I graduated when I was 18, it felt like I was starting over from zero because, I saved up a little bit of money. I was interested in purchasing a property that I could fix up and sell because that at the time that made sense to me. It's like, okay, I can buy something that looks really bad and I can fix it up and it sells for a higher price. Like that made sense. And so that's what I want to do. But I knew nothing about like who to contact, how to get the money. I didn't even know what a mortgage broker was. And it's because you don't learn any of that stuff in school. And so I do think that's one of the biggest problems with school is you graduate and then it's like completely starting over from zero. You have
Yeah,
no idea.
schools
about
are
anything.
overrated, especially college and graduating.
Very much so. And then now in today's AI world, it's going to get even worse.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to really pick up the pace to try to keep up. And I don't think it's going to happen. What did you like outside of money, real estate, business that like, I heard you mention, what was it? Casino Royale or what?
Oh, Clash Royale.
Clash Royale.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just a mobile game that I really just like playing.
So you like video games.
Yeah,
Of
video
course you like
games.
YouTube. I think
Yeah.
all the kids grow up on YouTube now.
I also like soccer.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Do you play any other sports?
Nope, just soccer pretty much.
Just soccer? My son plays soccer too, and I was a big soccer guy. I played soccer my whole life. I was really good at soccer, not really good at too many other sports.
Yeah.
I was okay at baseball, but everything else I was small. So soccer, I loved more than anything. How does he earn money? Or do y'all give him an allowance? How's he get what he wants?
Yeah, it's more just like he just gets like privileges, like you said, your
Yeah, I
son
was about to say.
Yeah.
that's pretty-
has to earn some YouTube time or what have you. That's kind of the same way. It's like, he's got to work on a paper, so let's get that done before you can kind of, have your leisure time. And so that's that. But I think now we'll start getting him some money from the podcast. Just think of ways to monetize that. I already have an LLC for him,
Okay,
that is
cool.
ready, a bank account tied to it, ready for him to start accumulating some money in there.
First dollar I get, I'm spending it on a candy bar.
Yeah.
Do you have a debit card or account already before the podcast?
No.
No, I don't have one for my son either. I was just curious. I think we're going to open one because what we're doing right now is I'm trying to teach him how to um the simple art of selling something, like buying it, fixing it up and selling it. And we bought an old golf cart last week. And so we're kind of fixing it all up ourselves. We're going to hopefully sell it for a profit. And I loaned him the money. So I loaned him the money at 10%, and I'll take my cut and take my money back. And then when he sells it, I was planning on opening him a bank account, and hopefully the profit can go in there. But that's
Nice.
kind of what we're working on
Nice.
right
That's
now.
awesome.
I
Yeah.
do like golf court. I mean,
We bought it off Facebook Marketplace
So-
and just bought a junker, and we're gonna fix it up together and paint it, and just been watching YouTube videos. I mean, you can figure anything out. I don't know anything about fixing up a golf cart, but between ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, pull me up some YouTube videos on how to replace a seat and how to do this and how to do this. Everything on there is super easy.
Oh, that's a great father-son experience too, and just like reviving something that maybe was cast off by somebody is just done, or just not very useful to you're like making it great. So I
And
love that.
it's I think it's the simple art of just figuring out how to buy something low and sell it for higher, right? How do you create the value? The value that we're creating in that is just by fixing it up, making it look super nice, getting us some features that people may want, and then hopefully we make a profit. I think we will. We're shooting for between like 600 and 1,000, like fingers crossed, but you never know. Like, I don't know what the market's going to do. I'm not like super familiar with the golf cart market. We did look at all the other ones for sale. We think we can make ours a little bit better for the same price. So we'll see where it lands. How did you teach him the importance of creating value, in life?
Yeah, that's a good question. Just to know that he was put here for a reason, to be a light in this world that's very, very dark. And we're a family of faith, and tell him, God has a purpose for you, and let's find out what that purpose is. And we're still kind of working through it. He's still very young, but I think we found something where he can impact a lot of people with his his story, his message, and inspire other kids. I mean, at the end of the day, he's building an amazing network, and it's going to create amazing connections for him. But hopefully other kids get to see what he's doing, and they get the courage and just hear him say, hey, I want to be like Leo, or I want to do something like Leo. And he can just, humbly share, hey, yeah, you come along for the ride.
It is really inspirational. Think about all those people you watch on YouTube and you're like, man, that's super cool. Like, you can inspire a lot of people by doing that. The other thing I think is really cool that you may not know just yet, but when you get a little bit older, you're going to realize all of these great people that you're sitting across from, you're going to get so much good information and so many pieces of information that can hopefully save you from making some mistakes. And so that's what the good thing about talking to people that are older than you, or have done something that you haven't done yet, is you can just learn from their mistakes. And because I've made a lot. And so I try to keep my son, and then also the people that the reason I got online is like, I want to keep them from making the same mistakes that I did in life. So that's the whole point. So when you're sitting across from those people, you definitely want to soak up like every little bit of information that you can.
Oh yeah.
What's the biggest lesson you learned about money so far that you can think of?
probably that's very rare and hard to find.
Okay.
The only time that I get lucky enough if I find any money is usually on the ground, on the sidewalk, if someone like lays down a dime.
But what about the way money works? What's the biggest lesson that you found on how money works in the world, or that you've learned so far?
Probably that if like stocks. I think stocks like, to me it was very cool. Like if someone bought it, people would be like, maybe I should invest in it, and then it would just go up, you know. But if someone sold, they would think, should I really, invest into this?
Day trading's hard.
Mm.
When you're buying and selling stocks. I've never been good at it, and so I'm a real estate guy like your dad. I've always made sense to me. Like I can fix up something old and that doesn't look good, and then fix it up, make it look nice, and then create the value in the property that way. What responsibilities do you think he has that most other kids maybe his age don't have?
Yeah, responsibilities. I just think now, just being aware of, like for just going back to his podcast, just like having to have these topics that he has to be prepared with for guests. And I don't know, I think other kids don't really think about others too much, not in a non-selfish or selfish way, but other kids like just their whole world is just like themselves, and that's fine. They're at that age where a lot's done for you, but he's having to think about other people. How am I going to connect with this person? How am I going to respect their schedule? And even when we have guests come over, he's always very quick about, hey, let's make the place look nice. Let's make sure I'm dressed appropriately. And so just thinking about others and how he's perceived out there.
Yeah, that's really the skills that you're going to get from the podcast are going to be incredible, and communication and time management, and then coming up with those questions and just figuring out how to learn from all these people. I mean, it's going to be really, really cool what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think you are going to inspire a lot of people for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad, you're gonna talk about yellow dangling.
Oh, yeah. Well,
What's something that you messed up or you made a mistake that helped you learn from, So what's something you messed up or made a mistake that you learned from, or you got a big lesson out of that you can think of?
Can you think of any? I can't.
I don't know. I mean, I think I just keep going back to the podcast because that's kind of been our, like, let's thrust them out there. But I think he's a lot better now at asking questions of other people and getting to the root of their why, and letting them share their story. And at the beginning, and you can't fault him. He's just starting out, but he might have like rushed through it kind of quickly. And it's like, hey, you could have gone deeper on that, because that's why they might
I
get it
think
to a
that
point.
is something like
So-
rushing through.
And I wouldn't call it a mistake. It's like a learning experience.
Yeah, whenever I say mistakes, I don't mean something that that you could have done better after you do it. It's not, just like whenever you're learning something like your podcast, the more you do it, the better you're going to get. And it's not that you're going to fail or you have a big failure. It's like a lot of small things like, oh yeah, I could do that better. Or you know what? I learned that I was talking too fast and now I need to talk slower. So you'll learn a lot.
Am I talking too fast right now?
No, you're doing good. You have good communication skills. That's something that I work on my son with the most, because that's what I lacked the most of when I was growing up. And I felt like if I would have had that, I would have been just so much further in life. It just helps you with every single other part of your life. So I'm like, make it a point. That's one of our number one things that we focus on. Couldn't get any better than doing a podcast. That's going to help you more than anything. Why did you want to start a podcast at a young age, such a young age? What was your reasons, you think?
Probably just get to maybe get a YouTube channel and maybe a couple years start making money. Other than that, like actual, I'd probably say probably just getting a YouTube channel.
Do you do any editing? Do you do all the uploads? Like, what part of the process do you do to get them to YouTube?
We have a semi-editor. She does all the uploads and editing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, she's not. She's not amazing, not bad. It's not extremely difficult, but I wanted to teach him too, and he's done a couple of edits. But I also wanted to teach him, like, look, the best use of your time is not in doing this. You know how to do it. Now you can tell somebody else how to do it. Let's get somebody else to do it. So just teaching him how to like stay focused in his zone of genius, which is becoming the podcasting, and then all the stuff you shouldn't be doing it, you get it off your plate and stay focused.
Hey everyone, real quick, I just want to let you know this podcast is 100% independent. No ads, no sponsors, just real. If you're finding value in whatever we're doing here, the biggest help that you can give us is hitting subscribe and sharing this with someone who you think needs to hear it, or someone that it will provide value to. That's how we continue to grow. And if you did that, I would really appreciate it. Do you know that all those big creators on YouTube, they started so young?
Yeah.
So it looks like they just took off. But if you look back and you see Mr. Beast, all these people, they started when they were like 12, 13, 14, like the Logan Paul and Jake Paul. Like, they're so young when they started. And so they got better and better and learned more and more. And then if you do something for a long period of time, you usually get good at it and it usually works out. Most people give up before
21.
they ever take off. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, for
Right?
podcasting,
Yeah, we just talked about that. So to be in the top 1% of podcasts in the world, I think you have had to do more than 21 or 25 podcasts or something like that. So you're already in the top 1%
Yeah.
just by beating those people.
Yeah.
Can you remember one thing, like the biggest thing that you learned from out of all your interviews that you can remember? That you learned, or somebody said something that you remember that stuck in your head?
I probably imagine that all of them said it, but probably always look at the bright side of things.
Okay, that's a good one.
But you might also want to talk about your most recent interview. You remember who it was?
Yeah, but which one? Because we've done so many.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
mean the
no,
guy with the one function?
yeah. What did
Okay.
you learn about him?
So, I'm totally not trying to advertise my podcast here. um, but so, in our latest episode, we interviewed this guy who he only has one functioning lung. He's climbed the highest peak in every continent, climbed even Mount Everest and all these other peaks. It's very cool. And
Couple other fun facts.
He did all that with one lung.
yep.
And also, like, two-time cancer survivor.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
given 14
He's-
days to live.
Yeah, like everybody thought he was going to go up there, right, into the clouds. But no, he survived cancer 2 times.
Wow, that's incredible. So it shows you that if you put your mind to something and you have a lot of strong will, you can pretty much achieve anything.
Hmm.
It's really cool. Were you ever nervous interviewing any of those people?
I would say probably I was really nervous when interviewing some of the big dogs out in the world, just because it's gonna seem like some kids play, if I mess that up, if I do this. I definitely was a bit nervous.
That's okay.
I'm
I was
like-
nervous too. I was probably more nervous than you was when I started mine. Are you more confident now than when you first started?
Yeah, I would definitely say yes.
What do you think Leo learns by just watching you every day? I know you're an entrepreneur. I mean,
Yeah.
and I kind of try to involve my son too in the same. It's not family or business. It's like it's kind of all one.
Yeah.
What do you
no, it's
think
a
some of
lot
the-
of things going on.
Yeah. What do you think some of the major things he's learning from that?
Yeah, I mean, I hope he just sees somebody who's dedicated to his faith, dedicated to his family, respects mom,
Hmm.
and just tries to show him what a man is to be. I believe with our sons, we're training our replacement in this world, and so we want to show them what it is to be a man. And like with daughters, we're showing them, what it is to expect in a man when it's their turn to go out and look for a man. It's like, no, my dad didn't talk to my mom like that, or my dad, the red flags come up quickly. And of course, for sons, they're learning how to be a man. And so my hope is that he just sees somebody who's dedicated and consistent and always there, not perfect, but does his best.
Yeah, leading by example. How many sisters do you have?
I have 2 older sisters, and I'm totally not advertising on more things. We have a matcha business, if you know what that is, matcha.
I do know what that is.
Yeah, it's basically green tea.
When did you start it with your sisters, or you have one?
No, just my 2 older sisters.
Oh, they have a matcha business.
Yes.
Oh, cool. How long have they been doing it?
I think since like 2024-ish.
Yeah, like a little over 2 years at this point.
Where do they sell it at?
They sell it at the like these is it trade shows or farmers markets
Yeah.
kind of things.
Yeah, and then
I
they
think
also
they're
have a website
they
where
have a web,
they
and there are a
ship it
couple
to you.
locations, and so yeah, it's something they're passionate about.
How do you look at the whole, work-life balance thing that everybody tries to talk about and say is important? How do you look at that?
Yeah, I say anything that takes away from my family, I have to figure out how to make that work without my time being involved in it. And I know that like if you're just starting out, it's like, well, yeah, I don't have the resources to do that. But yeah, I would just say, if you're starting out, you want to set things up so that when you do scale, because that's the intention of every business is to one day scale, is you're scaling like freedom through systems and a process, not scaling chaos. Because part of my story is I scaled chaos, and the chaos had me, this amazingly successful company printing money, but hating life because the demands of the job, I call it job. I mean, the demands of the role were like sucking the soul out of me, and that's having a negative impact on my family. My family's like, "Where's Dad?" And so, kind of went on a little rant there. But yeah, it's just making sure that you're setting things up so that you're still committed to the things that you love the most, the things that you say you're doing it for. Yeah. So hopefully I answered that to some degree.
That's the same mistakes I made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing a lot. I did way too much in my business for way too long. And, easier to look back on it now, but when you're in it, you think that's like the only path, right? You're like, I have to keep doing all this stuff. Nobody can do it better than me.
Yep.
It's like
Oh.
it's they're gonna mess it up. And so you like end up doing things for way too long, and you don't do the things that you like, that you probably did like when you started the business. Like, this is why I started, because I love all these things, and then you end up doing a lot of jobs that you hate.
That's why Dad has that book.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, that whatever chaos I had at the time, like when I first like got it going, might have been sustainable at a certain level. But then, like I said earlier, like you want to scale the business and it's get over here. But if you don't have systems, you're just going to scale that chaos, and it's going to demand every living moment from you. Like emergencies at the dinner table or 3 a.m. Hey, you got to fix the server because affiliates are going to complain that the conversions are off. And it's like, well, I can't go back to sleep now, so I better fix it. And the crazy thing is, I had a team to do all this stuff, but I trained my team to depend on me. And so I had the whole concept of delegation so wrong. And it wasn't until I fixed that I found my freedom.
I agree 100%. I went through all those same mistakes. I did the exact same thing. So is that why you wrote the book, to try to keep people from making those same mistakes?
Yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, yeah, the book has a lot of like my frameworks and stuff in there, and they'll get your time back. But the motivation of it really came from the expense that I saw that it was causing my family. My absence essentially, and even proximity doesn't mean presence. I could even be there, but like I'm facing the phone trying to put out a fire while the family's trying to eat, and they're like, hey, Dad, can we get your attention? And so it's kind of a bit of a story, but my dad in 2015, 2 weeks before he passed away, because he got diagnosed with cancer early in the year, made it a few months, 10 months, but 2 weeks before he died, like his deathbed confession or deathbed statement, he said, "Don't miss Leo's games. I missed too many of yours." And Leo's like 11 months at the time when he told me that.
I was a little peanut.
Little peanut, but he was just starting to walk and talk, and the firsts of a little child. And I had to depend on my wife to send me pictures and videos of and a little comment, "Hey, you missed this one too." And I don't think she's being rude, but just a little bit of like, yeah, I should be there for these moments. And so when my dad told me that, it smacked me like 1,000 pounds of bricks on my head, in a couple of ways. Because first, it was flashback to like the early 90s when I played basketball in high school. And, out of about 40 games, my dad only went to one of those games. And I remember thinking, am I just not important for my dad? And, I'm 13, 14, 15. Like, I don't know how to process this. I'm a kid. And, I'd score a basket and I look to the stands. Like, I hope my dad's here, because sons want to impress their dads, or they want the loving encouragement if they, step out of balance. It's okay, son. Go, you got this. And so, but no dad there, but my teammates would score a basket, and their dads were just cheering them on like crazy. Like, that's my boy. And I remember looking at another dad loving on his kid, and I was like, I wish that was my dad. And yeah, that would have crushed my dad, because, he wasn't a bad man. He was a good man. He was a medical doctor.
He's a good man.
Yeah, very successful in his career, successful on paper, but the family side of life, it wasn't like he was hostile or anything, but just absent. And so I was kind of like, trained to raise myself in that sense from a man.
I'm pretty good friends with a lot of doctors, multiple different doctors, and they get paid a lot, but they use all of their time, and they have no time to do anything, because they're always seeing patients, or always, I mean, there's no freedom, zero.
Yeah.
And so it's tough. You're trading your time for money, for sure. I mean, and again, they're making a little bit more for their time, but it's still, they don't have the freedom that probably your dad has, anything close. Whenever I implemented all those systems and started like really hiring good people, I actually made more money. And so like the things that I wish I would have done so much sooner, I could have made even more money. And then also just the stress and the freedom and being able to do what I really wanted, and not like you said, every single person in the company relying off me, whether it's during the day or 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, no, it was crazy, because so one portion of that flashback was the childhood, but then fast forward to when my dad told me that, the other part of it was like, holy cow, I'm you all over again. Like I'm doing the nice homes, cars, trips to Europe thing that my dad used to do in exchange for his presence. I'm doing that with my family. And my thinking at the time was, I was the boy that didn't like it. Now I'm doing it to my son. This ends here, but it's got to start tomorrow, because I'm working 16 hours today. And then tomorrow comes, and then tomorrow.
Yep.
Many tomorrows turns into 3 years. And I'm scaling a company with, printing money more than I could ever like envision having, but hating life. And it took me to want to like burn the business down, to realize that I got to stop doing what I don't like doing and keep doing what I love doing, like my zone of genius stuff.
What's the day that you made the switch? Like what was it? Was there just like a day that you remember that it happened, or what made you make that switch instead of I'm gonna put it off tomorrow, I'm gonna do it next
Yeah.
month, I'm gonna do it next month?
Yeah, I would say I remember vividly August of 2018. I reached a point. I remember calling my mentor and saying, I said, I hate this business. And I don't say hate lightly. If I say hate, it's because of visceral just anger, towards something. Grr. And
Angry face.
and I told him, like, I want out of this business. I want to sell it, but you can't snap your fingers and sell a business. You got to hit the market evaluation, LOIs, 80% of them fall through. Like, that's not a tomorrow thing. That's a multi-year thing. But you can burn a business down overnight. Not the smartest thing to do, but that's an option.
Yeah.
And so my mentor like lovingly walked me off the ledge. And that's when the whole concept of Buyback Time formula began. I didn't know that name. I didn't know about bottlenecks or frameworks. I was just doing the work. And
Hold up the book and show it to them.
well, I'll do that in a second. But the pinnacle of the transformation was I more than doubled my business. So an already very successful business, more than doubled it. And I was like living a semi-retired lifestyle, never working more than 30 hours a week. And the most impressive part of all that, like my dad said, don't miss Leo's games. I never missed any of his games. And like I told you earlier, like taught him how to negotiate real estate. Fast forward to current day, he's got a podcast, and he's just like hanging out with my friends and peers like he's one of the guys, and he's just soking in all of this like
I
life
love
experience.
Carl from his the chess.
Yeah.
He's
So
a
we got a
grandmaster.
friend who's like raised, almost $40 billion of capital.
He's
and
a
we're just-
grandmaster in chess.
yeah, and we're just playing, and he's like, pouring his wisdom into Leo. I'm like, oh my
cool.
gosh, like, yeah, you're not gonna get this in school. And so that's just evidence of a present dad in the family that you can do things like that, because his trajectory would have been similar to, unfortunately, what a lot of other, like the common kid today, just facing the phone and life just going right by you.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is they get raised off the screen, and then parents are like, oh, social media is bad.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're letting them do that all day. There's always been something that could, make a kid go in a different direction, whether it was, something bad previous to social media, but it could be, just bad influences, but you still got to be a parent and you still got to be around.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's my goal, is like to get the message out, really to get my dad's message out. And that message was first for me to adopt for myself. And then it was like, oh, wow, I have something here. Because like in the last couple of years, I've gone back to like, okay, I'm 48 years old at the time, 46, 47. And I'm like, anything that I do, like sink my teeth into for like the next 10 years, I'll be pushing 60. I mean, people can reinvent at that age, but not too many people do. And you don't want to find yourself trying to do something new. So I'm like, you know what? I want to do something that I could feel like I have purpose on this planet, because I've sold millions of bottles of pills, millions of bottles of supplements, and ethically, there's a bad way to do it. I've done it really well, but nobody's ever told me, oh my gosh, this bottle of pills changed my life. Like maybe you get less joint pain, maybe a better memory, and that's what it's designed to do. It's not a miracle in a bottle, but ever since I've been sharing the story, I've had a number of people text me, and especially dads, like, oh my gosh, my kids light up like a Christmas tree at my presence. I didn't know I was missing out on this stuff while I'm trying to build my business and do it for the family, while they're completely like missing out on dad and his presence. And so they're either going to get it from, the iPad and the iPhone, the World Wide Web, we know where that can go, or they're going to get it from dad. So let's bring dad back home.
Yeah. And I think the whole work-life balance thing, the way I look at it is I integrate as much as I can. So my kid's doing the same thing. He's going with me to buildings. He's learning about real estate. He's learning about other businesses. He does the same thing with his mom. And so, yeah, I bring him everywhere. Like I don't try to separate the two. I want to involve him in everything so he can learn along the way, and then I still get to spend time with him.
Yeah. Just on that note, he comes with me to just about every business lunch. Like
I
if they,
love going to Carl's house only just because of chess.
yes,
And
I
a
know you
couple
do.
other
That's super
things,
cool.
and that
Me
was
and my
it.
son started playing chess. He's good, but his attention span is still a little bit short. I mean, he's good. We'll play probably 3 or 4 games before he kind of crashes out, and then he starts getting bored. But he's been learning. He's been doing better and better and better. Are
Yeah.
you good? You're getting really good at it? That's cool.
Yeah, he beats me at it. So,
No, you beat me at
well,
it.
I feel like I
I have
lose
to go
more
to
than win.
chess.com to
But
practice, okay?
yeah,
What skills do you think every kid should learn before they're 18?
yeah, that's a good question. I think they should learn about money management, because once you become an adult, it's like, all right, you got roles, responsibilities, and nobody's teaching you how to do that. Just speaking for myself, when I was 18, I got a credit card. It's like, nobody told me you got to pay that back. Or I mean, I guess you assume you have to, but it wasn't really like emphasized. Like that's one of the things I could have learned from my dad. He was very good with money, and I'd seen how he managed money from like things that he bought or didn't bought, and but he never taught me like how to like balance a checkbook at the that's like a foreign thing to say today, but yeah, checks and credit cards and kind of the thinking of that. Hey, be careful because this is going to cost you a lot more than you think it does. And so that would have been nice to learn early on.
That's the weirdest part about, or the strangest part about the traditional education system, is it doesn't teach you anything about money, not one thing.
Yeah.
And so you have to learn on your own. And they wonder why it's like, oh, well, people make all these bad financial decisions. Well, they wouldn't all make those decisions if they actually learned a little bit about it. And so unfortunately, a lot of parents maybe don't have good money skills that they can't teach them. So it's unfortunate that school doesn't teach them. It's kind of sad, but
yeah, it's passed down.
Hopefully that'll change one day.
Dad, you have to show the camera your book. You must.
I know you want to show it. We'll talk
We,
about it.
we must advertise.
We'll get him to tee it up at the end.
Yeah, because he loves having his guests show their books. So he's like,
That's super cool.
We'll get there.
What's the biggest parenting mistake that you think you made?
I'd say getting my dad's message too late, basically. Letting a few years go by without prioritizing, and basically teaching Leo to ignore me, for the earlier part of his life. Like, I remember I'd be on calls and he's like, Dad, I got something cool to show you. And it doesn't even matter what it is. Like, I got to stop and look and listen, because when I say 5 more minutes and I'll be there, and I meant it, I wasn't like trying to, but 5 minutes is never 5 minutes. It's 30 minutes. It's an hour. And when a kid's like 3, 4, 5 years old, as attention span goes away. And I'm like, oh, hey, what'd you want to show me? And it's like 4 hours later. I don't know. See you later. Like, I'm busy doing my own thing over here. And over time, because he doesn't get the response he wants or needs, he just stops coming up to you. So there was a point where I was like, yeah, I gotta like restore this bond. Otherwise I'm gonna like miss out on it.
Yeah, I think the biggest one I made was letting him watch the iPad for too long. He was a really late talker. He didn't talk at all till he was a little over 4. Mm-hmm. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, I can't wait till he gets, he communicates and I can teach him all this stuff. And so in my mind, he's not learning anything. What I didn't realize is, so he watched iPad a lot, watching all this weird YouTube stuff that, these weird characters. And when he did start talking, that's all he would talk about. And so I'm like trying to teach him stuff and he would just kept going back to that. And so that's when I pulled it away. But definitely they learn a lot sooner than, in my mind, it was my first kid. I just like, oh, I'm going to teach him one day. And I should have been teaching him the whole time, just from almost day one. Yeah. And so that was definitely my biggest mistake. That will never happen with my daughter. She's 1.5, but I won't make the same mistakes with her. What do you think builds responsibility in kids?
A dog.
Well, that, I guess,
that's part of it.
Yeah, just having things to do and care for, and just knowing that, like I said earlier, just having consequences or knowing that their actions lead to a certain result, and is that a good result? Do you want that result? And I think that's what does it. Just giving them things to be responsible for. I know it's kind of a simple answer there.
No, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Leo, what advice would you give to parents that are raising other boys?
What's
a good tip that you think would help parents?
Start homeschooling.
Okay.
Because school is a prison.
Okay.
And like, I'm gonna give you a couple tips, all right?
Okay.
Well, not tips, but it just, like what's going on in schools. Number one, there's, like the bullying, right? Which is already bad enough.
That's a big one.
Number two, my mom told me apparently that in some schools there were kids just smoking in the bathroom.
Bad kids is a big one. I went to some bad schools in my life, and so
it's like, huh? And like there's just a bunch of crazy stuff happening at these schools. So parents, take your kids out of just school.
Bad environment.
Yeah.
You want them to be in a good environment,
yeah,
for sure.
Homeschool. Yeah.
That's his position, right?
Yeah.
But
Aside from money, aside from someone being wealthy, what do you think makes someone successful? What are some other things that you would consider somebody to be successful?
Maybe, being with their kids, like that's what Dad is doing right now with, his book and his website, and he's, teaching like amazing like successful dads who could probably buy like 10 million Lamborghinis, right? But yet they can't find the time to, be with their kids.
I think that's some really good advice. Do you think money's hard or easy to make?
It's definitely hard to make, you know? It's not like it's gonna come at you free randomly. Would you look at that? I got $10,000 somewhere. It's money. You have to work for money.
I agree. If a kid wants to be rich someday, what do you think they should start doing now?
Definitely learn about money.
Common sense. You're right.
Yeah.
That is a big one.
Because let's say money, it's not very simple. It likes to go this way, this way, this way, this way. It goes a bunch of different ways.
What do you think is a big mistake that people make with money?
Probably thinking that they're not spending too much. Like, if I have $2 and I spend $1.75 on a Snickers bar, that only leaves me with 25 cents. So I think I would rather, look for something maybe a bit, cheaper
Okay.
and save at least half or 3/4 of it.
Yeah, budgeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. What does responsibility mean to you?
Taking care of something like, pets. Pets are a good way to, earn responsibility, like with our dog.
And you know what? That's a big one. And a lot of other kids don't take care of their pets. I know a lot of parents that are friends of ours that they get a dog or they get an animal because the kid says, "Oh, I'll take care of it, I promise."
Yeah.
And they don't take care of it. And so you're one of the few that actually probably follows through with
Yeah.
it. So that's a good thing.
That's what happened to my 2 older sisters when they were around the same age as me. And they're like, please get us a dog. I promise we will both take care of it.
And did they take care of it?
And no, it fell on
You
my
took
mom.
care of it.
No, it fell on
Oh,
my
your
mom.
mom?
Yeah.
What do you think makes somebody trustworthy?
Being good with their money, because if you ever have to they're like, oh hey, can I get like $2 for a Snickers bar? You have to make sure they're may not spend on another useless thing. So
Okay.
knowing someone that has a good responsibility with their money,
What's one thing your dad does that makes you feel respected?
being there, just
Okay.
being there, showing him something, and I'm like, hey dad, check this out, and he's there, with me.
I think also treating you like an adult too is a good thing. I try to do that with my son because I think, as a man or as a boy, if you're treated like an adult, you're going to become more mature a lot faster because it's hard. Boys stay immature for a long time.
Yeah.
I definitely did. And when you're around people that are more mature, the more you are, I feel like it'll rub off on you a lot. When do you feel the most proud of yourself?
I guess getting the feeling that I did something right for my dad, like if I do something right, I'm like, nice, you did, good job, like that's the correct way,
Okay.
That's when I feel proud.
What do you think is something that dads should do more with their kids?
Definitely spending time with them, building a bond.
What do you think's the biggest lesson that you learned from your dad so far that you can think of?
Don't always go spending your money on just useless things. You want to, save the money, because let's think about it, right? Let's say I have $2, right? $2 in a Snickers bar. No. Let's say a Snickers bar costs $1, right? And I spend $1 on it and eat it, right? Then let's say another bar or candy bar comes out, right? And it's a lot better and it's a lot healthier. But this time it costs $2. I only have $1. I spent it on the Snickers bar. So always save and wait until you know that you can actually get a good deal.
Delayed gratification. So like saving or waiting for something that you think is going to be better or pay off in the future. That's a good one too. Why do you think a lot of people quit when things get hard?
Say that again.
Why do you think a lot of people give up when things get really hard? People, kids, parents, everybody. Why do you think they give up?
I think the reason why they give up is because sometimes they won't be able to finish something and they're like, I just give up, I can always restart it, redo it. But most things in life, you can't redo it,
Yeah,
So-
you got to stick with it.
Yeah.
What scares kids today that you think maybe adults don't understand or they don't know about?
Scares.
Scares or they're afraid of that their parents may not know that they're afraid of?
For this, I would say every kid's different, so I may not know like the most thing that scares
Yeah.
them. But what I would say is talk to your kid, and just say, what scares you, and you can help, overcome that.
Hey everyone, real quick, I just want to let you know this podcast is 100% independent. No ads, no sponsors, just real. If you're finding value in whatever we're doing here, the biggest help that you can give us is hitting subscribe and sharing this with someone who you think needs to hear it or someone that it will provide value to. That's how we continue to grow. And if you did that, I would really appreciate it. If parents that are out there listening to this could teach your kid one thing, what do you think it should be? One main thing
One main thing.
that they should focus on.
Probably money or being there with their own kids.
Okay. Good advice. And then George, when he gets older, what do you hope he says about how you raise him?
Yeah, I just hope he says, well, my dad was always there and he showed me a good example of how to stay composed. Where to go when I felt that I needed help. Like, dad's always there. Dad always gave me good advice. Sometimes it wasn't what I wanted to hear, but it's what I needed to hear. And and that he just saw me just loving him, loving our family, and just being a good person in this world.
What's something that you worry you might get wrong as a father?
That I might get wrong. Yeah, I mean, I can only open doors for him and support him where he wants to, and sometimes I could misinterpret his excitement and encouragement for something, and I'm thinking, all right, this is it, and it's a long-term thing, and it just fizzles out, and I'm still trying to run with it. So it's just being aware of what has him excited and supporting him in that versus trying to continue something because I thought I had it and he doesn't anymore, but I'm still pushing it through.
What lesson are you trying to teach Leo right now that he might not understand until he gets older?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, what am I trying to teach him? Yeah, just at this age, you're probably not having major life setbacks because you're a child and you've got people to depend on for that. But you can recover from anything, really, any kind of major setback, and he's interviewed enough people. Like one of the common themes is how to handle failure or perceived failure. It's failure if you're just I'm done and I'm out, but it's just a stepping stone to where you want to go if you take that and learn from it. Now, how can I do it better next time, or is this a door closing? I need to go that way. And so
you only fail when you give up. Because everything else is a learning lesson. So even if it's just any type of failure or challenge or problem, it's just a learning lesson. It's okay, what can I learn from this? How can I get a little bit better? How can I not do that again? That's all failure is. What's one trait that you have that you hope he carries forward too?
Yeah, I'd say it's just having that entrepreneurial stubbornness. One of the first things I told him when he interviewed me for our mock podcast, I forget how he phrased the question, but I told him, when you're taking advice from people, make sure it's from people who are where you want to be.
Not where you want to be. Or
Well, not from people who haven't been where you want to go. So if he wants to have this massive YouTube channel, don't take advice from somebody who doesn't have a channel or started one and gave up. Take one, I know Mr. Beast is an extreme example, but if he has anything to say about growing a YouTube channel, he's probably the one you want to listen to, not the kid who just burned out.
I think that's extremely good advice. Yeah. Because there's going to be a lot of people that have a lot of opinions in life. And you definitely want to only consider the ones that have done what you're trying to do for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of those people might truly love him. They might care for him, their family, and even good friends. But it's okay, thank you for the advice. Let me now put it through my filter of where have you been? Where I want to go? No, then we'll just park that where it needs to go.
Yeah, it's an opinion.
Yeah.
All right, that was it.
All right.
Appreciate you coming on, Leo.
Yes. Oh, Dad, your book.
Oh yeah, let's
Advertise time.
He's my
advertise
best marketer
everything.
over here.
No, wait. Where can they find your book? Where can they how can you help them? Hopefully you can keep people from making the same mistakes you did.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is my book, Buyback Time Formula. So I have a
Show it to the
website.
camera right there. I'm pretty sure that's it right there.
Okay.
We
Sorry.
got 3 of them,
He's
so he can
making
show
me-
it anyway.
He's making me show the book. Yeah. So
Hey,
We must advertise.
his priorities are right.
We must
yes.
profit off this.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So yeah, it's 128 pages, and it has all my frameworks on what I use to buy myself out of my founder prisoner, or I was a founder prisoner. Speaking about prison, a lot of times in the school system here. Yeah, I took my company from 20 million to 50 million dollars in about 2 years implementing these frameworks in here, and I got my time back, got my life back. My business didn't fall apart. Didn't just stay status quo. It actually went up when I was focusing more on my zone of genius, what I was born to do versus all the other stuff. Important, but somebody else should be doing it. And so all my frameworks are in here, but you can go to buybacktimeformula.com, get a link to the book. I also host a couple of events per month. I host a dinner at my home for local entrepreneurs. Founder dads are the ones that typically gravitate towards it because we experience the same kind of issues and struggles and stuff. And really, it's more like just men opening up to other men about the struggle that we go through balancing work and life and all that. And then I have a virtual meetup for those that can't make it as well. But all that's at buybacktimeformula.com and links to my socials. I post daily. And yeah, just trying to get my dad's message out to the world.
Super cool. And it's funny how it takes you so many years to learn that once you get a business going, if you just step away and create the right systems, you'll make way more money and you'll have a great life.
Absolutely.
And not saying that you can start out doing that because everybody has to kind of learn everything as they go. But it's funny how it takes so long to figure that out. And it took me probably 18 years, 17 years.
Oh, nice. Hey,
It was about the same.
you got it sooner than me. I was 23 years
Okay.
when it finally clicked. And I thought I had it, but I didn't have it like I thought.
And it's so crazy because now I can make so much more money and invest in more companies because I hire all the right people, we put in the right systems, and you have a lot more freedom.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
you get all the
that's
good
enough
parts.
for-
You get all the good parts of a business without a lot of the bad ones. That the reason people burn out is probably a lot of those reasons in that book. That
Yeah,
could help
yeah.
them.
Okay, that's enough advertising for you now. On to me.
So tell us the name of your podcast. Where can people see your podcast at?
So you can we have a website. It's still being made. So
Okay.
if you click on it, you might find some
Well,
weird bugs.
it's live. It's version 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
We still have to get a couple things still working.
Is there a name for the podcast?
Yeah. So the podcast I have is called Leo Interviews.
Okay.
You can find it on YouTube. Please subscribe, please.
It's leointerviews.com, and it's also on YouTube.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's Leo Interviews is the
Yes.
screen name on YouTube. Are you posting any short form content anywhere? Do you have an Instagram that you post the clips on or anything?
No. Well, my dad does. He'll make a post on Facebook for people to go check it out on YouTube. Other than that,
So we're gonna give you a list of editors, and I think you can get a lot of short form clips from your podcast. It'll do really good, and that'll help drive some traffic to your podcast. But
Yeah.
we'll get you some good ones that do not cost a lot at all.
Oh, thank you.
Editing's really people have gotten really good in really low pricing, so
Nice.
you can learn from my mistakes and don't overpay.
We'll take it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming on.
Yeah, I
Thanks
mean,
for having
yeah,
us.
thanks
Yeah,
for
it was
having
great.
us. Yeah.
Super impressive what you're doing with Leo. I'm trying to follow in those same footsteps.
Yeah, I guess if I had one final word is like, we can always go out and make more money, but we can never redo a childhood. So let's make the best of it.
All right.
Yeah, I would say like a childhood can never be replaced, redone, remade. A childhood will always just stay the same.
It'll just
Okay.
happen once, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.